Alright, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. In this video, I want to address the hot button controversial topic: was Hadi Choopan robbed at the 2025 Mr. Olympia? If you look at almost any social media post on any bodybuilding page about Derek Lunsford winning the 2025 Mr. Olympia, every single comment is about Hadi Choopan. Hadi should have won, Hadi this, Hadi that. I'm sure some of them are bots or whatever, but honestly, I think there's a lot of legitimate comments, a lot of legitimate people. I'm seeing check marks. I'm seeing comments with thousands of likes saying that Hadi Choopan should have won. And honestly, I think there is a legitimate argument to say that Hadi won the show. And if I'm being completely honest myself, if I had to pick between Derek and Hadi after considering both prejudging and the finals, to be completely honest with you guys, I would pick Hadi over Derek. So I think it's completely legitimate to be a fan of Hadi Choopan and be upset about these results and not agree with Derek Lunsford winning. Now, what I don't think is legitimate is, number one, I'm seeing this kind of narrative that the Mr. Olympia won't allow Hadi Choopan to win because he's not American, he's Iranian, and that the Mr. Olympia is fixed for an American to win. I think that is obviously and absolutely not the case. I don't think that's true at all. And one reason we know that it's not true is that Hadi Choopan has won the Olympia. The last Mr. Olympia champion, Samson Dauda, was from the UK. He wasn't even American. I want to stress, and I can't stress enough, I do not believe for 1 second that when talking about politics in bodybuilding, I don't believe for 1 second they did not give Hadi Choopan the title because of where he's from. I don't believe it for a second. That's not me defending the Pro League. I just think that's legitimately the case. If you guys know the visa process for both Beirut and Hadi Choopan, it's the folks from the Olympia and the IFBB writing letters to get them into the country, to be able to compete at the Olympia. And the reason they do that and they go out of their way to try to get Hadi here and try to get Beirut here is they want the best of the best bodybuilders to compete for the best of the best title. And why would they do that? To just rob them blind if they deserve to win. They want the best here, and Hadi is the best, Beirut is the best, and we've seen them give Hadi Choopan the title. And I think even more so, when you look at the scorecards, Derek Lunsford won prejudging with a score of 6-9 versus Hadi. I think that all of us watching that prejudging, or at least most of us, walked away thinking or knowing that Derek had won the prejudging. And to be honest with you guys, I think it's a little bit ridiculous. I get that people don't like Derek. I get that people don't like Derek's physique. I get that people don't think he is an impressive Mr. Olympia. I can see the arguments for all of those things. I 100% can. But I can't sit here and pretend like Derek is just some trash bodybuilder, because that seems to be the narrative, is that Derek just looked awful and Hadi was clearly robbed. I don't think that was the case. Derek looked good. Now again, I'll repeat, if I had to choose, if I were the judge, I would have chosen Hadi. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend Derek just looked horrible, because that's not the case. And I think when you look at the final score, Hadi Choopan won the finals with a score of 7-8. Hadi won finals. And I think when you look at how many times they compared these guys, and shout out to Milos Arshev. This video is from Milos. This was the final comparison of the night for finals. I think Milos had some of the best videos to come out of the Olympia weekend because the live stream seemed so dark, the lighting was so bad, and Milos was right there in the front row with his iPhone. And I think his videos look so much better because these newer iPhones have like these auto-adjust like light settings when you're filming a video, and I think that's why these videos pop so much better than the live stream does. So shout out to Milos, because I thought this was a great video. But this final call-out, they did an extra fourth call-out comparing Derek and Hadi at the finals. And this was for Hadi's benefit, not for Derek's. The finals is essentially a confirmation round of what the score was at prejudging. So Derek winning prejudging, the finals is to confirm that. So the more comparisons that they do, especially over and above what they typically do, those comparisons are for the challenger's benefit. They're saying, okay, we're going to give you a shot we think you might be beating Derek. We might need to give you the title. We're going to do extra call-outs to make sure that we're making the right decision. These extra call-outs of Derek versus Hadi, they were not for Derek's benefit because Derek was already winning prejudging. So the more they compare Derek and Hadi, it's not for Derek's sake. It's not keeping him safe. It's to give Hadi a shot at the title. That's the other reason why I think this like robbery argument is not good. I mean, they gave finals to Hadi. They had to admit Hadi won the finals. It just wasn't by enough of a margin to beat Derek from the 6-9 prejudging with the 8-7 finals for a final score of 14-16, a 2-point decision. So I think you need to ask yourselves when we're having this discussion, and again, I think it's valid. I think if you're a Hadi Choopan fan, it's valid to say, why did he lose? Was he robbed? Why did Derek win? But I think when we're talking about this discussion of a robbery, you've got to ask yourselves, what is a robbery? What does that mean when we say that? Does it just mean that you disagree with the judge's decision and that you think Hadi should have won? Because if that's the case, then yes, you can say it was a robbery. If you disagree with the judges and a lot of you think that Hadi won, if that's your definition of a robbery, then yes, you can say that Hadi was robbed. You think he should have won and he didn't. But I think if your definition of a robbery is a politically motivated, because Hadi is from the country that he's from, and because the Olympia is in America, that's why he didn't win. That's the robbery. I don't think that's true. I don't think he was robbed if that's your definition. And that seems to be what I'm seeing the most, is people saying it was fixed for Derek because he's American. And I think some of these theories about politics and about Derek specifically are ridiculous. It's like, I got a DM the other day I was looking at, and someone was saying, how much are they paying you? Who's paying you to speak so positively about Derek? And it's like, dude, who would be, like, what is the conspiracy theory here? Who would be paying me to speak positively about Derek? First of all, in my Olympia predictions, I had Derek in 4th, and I haven't really spoken super positively about any of the physique updates that we saw of him going into the show. Secondly, the Olympia is not going to pay me to talk positively about Derek. Derek's not going to pay me to talk positively about Derek. Derek's coach isn't going to pay me to talk positively about Derek. 2 out of 3 of those people don't even like me, probably hate me. So it's like people pulling these conspiracy theories. But for the record, no one is paying me to speak positively about Derek. I'm just not going to sit here and say that Derek looked like trash, even though that's what a lot of people want to hear. He didn't. Derek looked good. There were certain shots, like I said, I would give to Hadi. And like I said, if I could pick between the two, I would pick Hadi. And so I say that about the DM to kind of illustrate the point. I feel like there's a lot of ridiculous conspiracy theories in bodybuilding, that being one of them, that people pay for positive publicity. I can say in the over a decade that I've been doing this, not only have I never been paid to talk positively about any given bodybuilder, I've never even been offered money to say something nice about a bodybuilder. It's not even a thing. So I feel like there's like these ridiculous theories, and I feel like when I see some of the messages that I get and some of the comments that I get, and I look at some of the comments that the Olympia page and the IFBB are getting, I feel like it kind of falls into that same category. It's like Hadi fans are angry, and so they come up with these like insane conspiracy theories that just I don't think are true at all. And I think some of the things that I see in those comment sections are as ridiculous as saying someone's paying me to talk positively about Derek when I haven't even. But I think you got to acknowledge Derek didn't look like trash. Like, there's like this narrative that Derek is just like the most trash bodybuilder ever. And it's like, yeah, I agree. Like, you can look at his biceps and say his biceps aren't good. There's not a lot of definition. There's not a great shape to him. The biceps aren't good. I think you can also look at his physique and say Hadi was a lot sharper. I think that Derek did look soft in certain poses. I feel like Hadi's quads, and this was like kind of the debate with Tyler Manning's recap video, right? Is like, he's like, well, Derek's legs looked fuller in these poses, and Derek's arms and shoulders looked fuller in these poses, but Hadi was more conditioned. That's where I say, if it was me, I would pick the more conditioned, more detailed Hadi with smaller legs. Yes, Hadi's legs looked a little bit smaller than Derek's, but I think they were more detailed and conditioned, so I would pick Hadi in those poses. Or the same with the arms. Hadi's arms may have been slightly smaller, or his delts may have looked a little less full or whatever, but they were more detailed and crisp, I would pick Hadi in those poses. So, and let me read Tyler Mannion's statement here. I already talked a little bit about his pose-for-pose breakdown, but I really thought his statement was an interesting one because I feel like he's probably getting a lot of flack from the Hadi Choopan fans, and that's what led him to making this comment on his own post. I feel like the Hadi Choopan fans were probably losing their minds, watching this recap video. So this is what Tyler Mannion had to say, head judge and vice president of the IFBB Pro League. He says, Hadi fans are only capable of seeing others' flaws and not Hadi's. I could care less the name or nationality of the person who wins. If it fits who wins, it's who fits the criteria best that day. At the Pittsburgh Pro, I had Derek losing to Nick, who took 6th here because I thought Nick was better that day. Let's look at the flaws. Derek doesn't have a good bicep peak or inner arm detail. Needs more thickness and detail in the chest and front poses. His condition from the front doesn't match his condition from the side and back. I think this is very valid, and that's why I have Hadi winning some of those front poses with the chest detail, with the arm detail, with the leg detail, even if Derek is quote-unquote fuller or his legs are quote-unquote bigger. I think Hadi's detail is better, and that's why I would pick him. He can have a little bit smaller legs, but the detail is better, so I would go with Hadi. And he says, Hadi, legs from all angles looked small. Lost chest thickness and fullness. So the chest looked flat, even though it was striated in the most muscular. Shoulders don't look great. Condition from the back and even side doesn't match his condition from the front, which I agree with. Hadi's condition from the front is crazy, and I don't think it matches from the back. And he says, oh, and for Derek's front and Hadi's back, I wouldn't call either of them soft. Even the best guys in the world have plenty of flaws. This has rang true throughout history, including the 90s, 1000s, and 10s. It just baffles me that one set of fans decide to overlook flaws of their guy because his chest and midsection has impressive condition. There's an argument for both guys to beat each other. If you cut their heads off, if you cut their heads off their bodies and didn't know who was who, that's why the contest was so close. And look, even where my pose-for-pose breakdown differs with Tyler's, even mine has it 4 poses to 4, which is a coin toss. It's a tie. I would give Hadi Choopan the front double bicep. I would give him the abs and thighs. I would give him the most muscular and the rear lat spread. I would give Derek the front lat spread, the side chest, the side tricep, and the back double bicep. So even then, it's 4 to 4, and it's a coin toss, and I would pick Hadi in that coin toss. Derek may have been fuller in some body parts and some poses, but for me, I would prefer Hadi's condition. And for me, when you have it 4 to 4 like that, like how I have it, I would pick Hadi with the extra crisp condition over Derek having, some points of his physique that were fuller than Hadi's. And it's okay to disagree, too. I'm not saying that Hadi fans shouldn't be upset. I'm not saying they shouldn't be angry. I'm not saying that you can't say it was a robbery. That's why I said we should define how we are, what is a robbery to you. If you just disagree with the judges and you really think Hadi should have won and he was robbed, I think that's fine to say. And I think it's okay to disagree with me. I think it's okay to disagree with the judges. I think it's okay to disagree with what Tyler had to say. I just think that overall, the core essence of what I wanted to say in this video is that I think Derek is not a bad bodybuilder. He has won the 3 biggest shows this year: the Arnold, the Pittsburgh, and the Olympia. I just don't like this narrative that Derek is such a bad bodybuilder. And granted, he's not my favorite. Like I said, I would pick Hadi over Derek just even in terms of whose physique I like more overall, not even specifically relating to this Olympia. But you really got to think about Derek's history, what he accomplished this year, winning those 3 shows. Is it more likely that the judges have been wrong 3 shows back-to-back, that Derek has just sucked 3 shows back-to-back, and they rigged 3 shows back-to-back? Or is it more likely that maybe just a lot of people don't like Derek and they don't want to see him win, so they disagree when he does? And I even said in my Olympia wrap-up video, this is the first Olympia in a long time that when they announced the result at the finals and they said Derek Lunsford wins, it was the first time in a long time that I sat there watching it live and I said, ooh, I don't know about that one. So I get why this is controversial. But I genuinely do not believe There is a political agenda in the IFBB. I think they judge fairly. I think sometimes you can question the outcome, the results. You can question the judging. But I don't think that ever Hadi's nationality, or anyone's, has played a factor in whether they won or lost the show. There's not one single part of me that believes they would do that. And I've heard every kind of story. I've talked to everybody. The time that I've been around for the last 10 years, I've talked to everybody behind the scenes you could possibly imagine. Judges, manions, promoters, bodybuilders, everybody. I've heard all kinds of crazy stories that I would never talk about in a video. I've never once heard they didn't like this guy because of his politics. They didn't like this guy because of where he's from. They didn't like this guy because of the color of his skin, so they made sure he didn't win. Never once heard anything like that from anybody. I don't think it happens. And I don't think that's the case with Hadi. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I think this is a very interesting discussion. And again, I think it's valid to say you preferred Hadi. If I'm being honest, I preferred Hadi. But again, I'm not mad or surprised that Derek won. I thought it was pretty clear he was winning prejudging. And I'm not really surprised that he won the show. And I'm not really mad about it. I think, honestly, whether it was him or Hadi or Andrew, if any one of those three guys won the show, I don't think I'd be upset with any of them winning. I don't think it was like a crazy decision. And again, I just can't sit here and say Derek is trash like a lot of people, like every comment section I've been seeing. It's been really surprising to me. The amount of people that are just like, Derek is he's terrible. I mean, I get people not liking his physique, but I don't know how you can say that looking at his history. It's just he has delivered multiple times. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm sure this is going to be a furious comment section, furious debates, one side or the other. I know how the Hadi Choopan fans feel, but I just want to stress, and I don't think I can stress it enough, I legitimately do not believe for 1 second they did not give it to Hadi because of where he's from. I just want to make sure that that's clear. But let me know what you guys think down below. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, click that bell notification icon if you have not already. And as always, I love you guys, appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power, signing out. All right, guys, don't forget to click that like button and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy the content. Also, check out my Instagram at Nick Strength Power, my Facebook page, which is simply Nick Strength and Power, my secondary YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Vlogs, for vlogs and bonus content that you will not see on this channel. And consider subscribing to my third YouTube channel, Nick Strength and Pokemon, which is all things Pokemon and trading card games, completely unrelated to this channel. So if you're into that, give that one a look. And all links to merchandise and social media will be in the description box below. If you guys want a Nick Strength and Power t-shirt, that will be in the Shopify link below. Have a great day.